Athletics is a collection of sporting events that involve competitive running, jumping, throwing, and walking. It goes beyond the sub 10, 20, or 50 seconds we watch in competitive sprints or the minutes and hours logged during marathons. It involves a lot of processes and work behind the scene that regards training regimes, athletes' health, among others. Unduka Chukwedu Igwe, an athletics coach with the University of Lagos, speaks to us exclusively about athletics.
You have the pre-seasons, which we sometimes call the build-up season, okay, which is usually between September to December. But because the festival ended in December, build-up starts in January. Just one of those exceptions. So then after the pre-season, we now have the pre-competitive season. Now the pre-competitive season is usually between January to February. Okay, and at that point in time, you get to hear athletes doing indoors, like 60 meters, short hurdle jumps, where you have the 60 meters because they gradually gain into. Then you have the main competitive season, and that is usually between March to June, where you now have the Diamond Leagues coming up, and you have lots of competitions, gain them for the main competition. Then you now have the post-competitive season. That is between July to September or November, depending on one or two main competitions that come prop up to keep them, to maintain them in shape till the off-season.
While every season is important, the preseason is seemingly the most essential in athletics because it determines an athlete's season in terms of fitness, especially. Bishop explains what training processes are undertaken during this season.
It depends on the athlete and also the event you're looking at. If, for example, the athlete has gained extreme, has added fat, okay, looking chubby, you put him on long runs. Now you talk about 20 minutes to 30 minutes runs, so he can sweat that muscle up. That could last for like a week, 3 times a week, okay? And but if he hasn't gained but hasn't lost, then what we do at that point in time, we then go straight to conditioning, where he gets to use resistance bands, gets to do push-ups, sit-ups, to condition them to shape. Okay, then they get to run easy races, maybe 150, 200, short races that they don't get to do, like they just put like 50% effort. Okay, just to psych them up and prep them for what the season holds for them.
And for other seasons, it details the various routines of conditioning, muscle strengthening, among others.
Within that build-up season, the first 1 month or 3 weeks, they get to do conditions and stuff. Now, after that, they are introduced to weights, okay, where they work with light weights to still get them used to that. Then as the period continues, these weights go up. The loading or the intensity of the weight load also intensifies. And so they're also going to be introduced to a lot of isometric exercises, okay? Also as well as isotonic.
Isometric, isotonic, what
Yeah.
are they?
Now, isometric simply means is exercises you do, you don't move the arm. So like maybe you lift something and you hold there, release the hand. Those are isometric exercises. Isotonic is mainly muscle strengthening. Okay, the way you see someone toned into shape. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean the person is stronger, but the person is toned into shape.
The importance of these training methods and how they impact on an athlete's body and health was also explained.
They do lots of endurance run to build up their VO2 max, where they get to do just easy, maybe 300, 400, 500, depending on the event, 600, 800, depending on the events they do. Now that's just to build up their cardiovascular system, both respiratory and cardiovascular. Also build up their muscle strength to withstand the workload they have to do. As well, psych them for what is to come when they get into the speed work. Now, during the pre-competitive season, then we go more into speed endurance. We go into, they still get to work with the weights. You understand? That's why they do lots of weights during that period. Like sometimes they would use the gym like 3 times a week during that period. Okay. Now, the distance of the races also will shrink. So if, for example, you're a 100-meter runner, maybe you played with 300, you will now cut it down to 150, 120, 80 meters, you know. But now you go much faster. Okay. Now, emphasis at that point in time is your takeoff from the start. How do you leave the block? Your technique, like down the stretch. You rehearse the phases of the races, you know, during the pre-competitive season. Lots of corrections are also made during that period, while the person is also on top shape, on top speed.
Athletics involves both track and field events. For the track, you have the sprints, that's the 60 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, and 400 meters. For the middle distances, you have the 800 meters, the 1,500 meters, and the 3,000 meters. For long distances, you have the 5,000 meters and the 10,000 meters, popularly known as the marathons. You also have the hurdles, the 60 meters, 100 meters, 110 meters, 400 meters, and the 3,000 steeple chase that has water with it. And then lastly, in tracks, you have the relays, that's the 4x100 meters, popularly known as 4x1, and then the 4x4, which can also be referred to as the 4x400 meters. As regards field, athletics has to do with jumps, that's the long jump, triple jump, high jump, and pole vault, while as regards throws, it involves the shot put, discus, hammer, and javelin. Then you have the combined events in terms of pentathlon, heptathlon, and decathlon. In athletics, especially sprinting, the arms play a huge role in an athlete's sprinting technique, strength, and pace, as well as the essential need of having a strong hamstring. This, Coach Nduka Igwe, popularly called Bishop, explains to us.
You got to see the athletes flip the tire. Now, there are 2 types of flipping tires, and the 2 types work on different parts of the body. The first style, where they go down, lift the tire, and flip, works. It's like a form of squat and flip. So what they do is they're working on the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes. You know, it's all form of conditioning their muscles to prevent injuries when they get in shape. Okay, so you make the legs a bit bulkier and stronger to withstand impacts created from training. Now, the second one, they get to flip, they get to squat and stay in a squatting position and flip the tire. That works on the upper part of the body. Okay, the biceps, the triceps, even the muscles after the elbow. And now, as well, the shoulder. And that helps them build the muscles on the upper body. What people don't know is that sprinting is controlled by the shoulders. So when you run, this determines how high your legs would go. This determines how fast your legs will go. So if your arms are not strong to push the leg, you won't run as fast. That's 1. 2, when you go to the crouch start, where you get to do on your marks, set, go. At a particular time, your entire body is resting on your arm. So if your arms are not strong enough to receive the rest, you either beat the ground or you sleep on the block. So this triggers and gets you ready to leave the block and to be alert and strong for the block.
He also shared his thoughts regards the state of athletics in Nigeria presently.
If I was asked this question 2 years ago, I would have said athletics is dead.
Okay.
But with last seasons and with what is happening this coming season, athletics are just kicked off again. And like if you follow the festival, you hear a new boy running a 10-2-7. You hear a new boy running a 10-2-7, which for a while, other than Shea and maybe one or two athletes, we haven't seen that. Also in the Wahoo, it was one with a 10-1 by Enoch Adegoke. So it tells you that athletics has picked up compared to back in the days. Also, there's been lots of training and seminars, that is going to kick off this year for coaches at all levels.
With the 2019 Athletics World Championships coming up, Coach Unduka Igwe also shared his thoughts and hope for the Nigerian contingent going into the championship.
To be very sincere, this year will be the first time we will be having athletes representing the 100 and 200 at the World Championship. I'm very sure of that. Also, this will be the first time we'll be having 4x1. And when I mean we'll be having, I'm not saying they'll just go and compete. That they will dominate, get to the finals, both in the 100, in the 200, in the 400, and in the relay. I'm competent with the levels of knowledge the coaches we have today have, and I'm sure that they would surely deliver.
We met with a couple of student athletes who also spoke to us regards their challenges in terms of combining their academics and sporting aspirations, as well as the state of athletics in the country and their hopes for the sport. Here is what they had to say.
A little bit of recovery. We don't really base on recovery in Nigeria. Like that's like the basic thing we don't base on. So that's a very, very major problem to us.
Well, now the system in Nigeria doesn't really support we athletes, especially student athletes like us. We have to squeeze out time to come and train and also it's not really helping, but we thank God for the improvements, Sha.
Well, I'm happy with my coach. His technical knowledge is actually top notch. So I'm happy. But in terms of facilities, well, it's okay. It's still manageable. We use what we have, so it's okay.
To be sincere, the facilities, yeah. It depends on where you train to get such facilities that you require. But now technology has advanced and there are a lot of things, corrections that you need to make at this level. Now sprinting is not more about like how hard you train, but you have to train and work smart. And those technologies that are required helps to achieve the purpose of working smart. But in Nigeria, I don't think we have such technologies like coaches, view app, and all those sorts of technologies you use outside to correct an athlete's form or correct their mistakes and all.
Well, I expect a lot in Nigeria, even though outside the country too, they're also running like very good times. So, but I also expect we have talent in Nigeria, so we'll do very well.
I'm also expecting much for this World Championship. According to the last National Sports Festival, the times that they ran was somehow impressive because it has been long they won a National Sports Festival with a 10-2. Before the World Championship, most of them might be doing a 10-1, which is the standard requirement for going to the World Championship.
Well, I want to break a 10-1 before the end of the year. As in worst case scenario, 10-1 for the end of the year. I just pray God to help me and my training. I trust my coach and the programs he's giving me. So I just hope I break a 10-1.
We know that yes, as an athlete, you don't compete against others, you compete against ourselves. Personally, I want to break the 10 seconds barrier because that's like for you to enter any final in any race in the world or any championship, Diamond League, you have to be running a sub 10. So that's my target.
In conclusion, a whole lot of hard work, discipline, and dedication certainly goes into preparations, training, and competitive races that we, the viewers, admire greatly, and hopefully, the government provides the needed facilities for our athletes and our athletics to thrive once again.